In both cases presented, the issue revolves around the constitutionality of statutes that delegate significant authority to administrative bodies without providing adequate standards or guidelines for the exercise of that authority. Let's break down the key points and holdings of each case. Case 1. U.S. v. Tang, 43 Phil. 1923. Facts: the Philippine legislature enacted Act No. 2868, which empowered the Governor-General to issue proclamations regulating the price of rice under certain conditions. The defendant was prosecuted for selling rice at a price higher than that fixed in the proclamation. Issue: the defendant challenged the validity of the proclamation, arguing that it constituted an unconstitutional delegation of powers. Held: the court held that the law was incomplete as legislation because it left the discretion to determine the conditions for issuing proclamations, defining what constitutes an extraordinary increase in prices, and determining the content and duration of temporary rules and emergency measures entirely to the Governor-General. This delegation of power without clear standards violated the principle of non-delegation of legislative power. Case 2. Compania General De Tabacos de Filipinas v. The Board of Public Utility Commissioners, 34 Phil. 136, 1916. Facts: the Board of Public Utility Commissioners issued an order requiring a public utility to file detailed reports of finances and operations according to its own discretion, as authorized by Section 16 of Act No. 2307. Issue: the petitioner challenged the constitutionality of the provision, arguing that it constituted an unconstitutional delegation of legislative power. Held: the court held that the provision was unconstitutional because it granted the board broad and comprehensive authority without providing sufficient standards or guidelines. The statute failed to specify what information the state required, what was valuable to it, or what was necessary for just taxation, supervision, or control of public utilities. As a result, the delegation of power to the board lacked the necessary direction and guidance from the legislature. In summary, both cases illustrate the principle that while legislative bodies may delegate certain powers to administrative agencies, such delegation must be accompanied by clear standards or guidelines to prevent an improper transfer of legislative authority. When statutes grant broad discretion to administrative bodies without adequate standards, they risk being declared unconstitutional for violating the principle of non-delegation of legislative power.